Per the rules of this meeting, all individuals seeking office must have made their candidacy known to the executive director of the party by 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. Also, per the rules, state committee members may nominate the declared candidates for office and provide brief speeches advocating for the candidate. Such nominating and secondary speeches shall not exceed a combined total of 2 minutes. The candidates for office must accept the nomination and shall have 3 minutes to speak. I will now accept nominations for the position of chairman of the New Hampshire Republican State Committee, and I recognize who is nominating. I believe it's Chris Eger's being nominated first. I recognize Bill O'Brien.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fellow Republicans, I nominate the candidate who's guaranteed to be successful chairman. I nominate our national committeeman, Chris Eger. Like many of you, I'm not drawn to unproven candidates who come only with talking points about success. I want to see proven success. I want someone like Chris Eger, who has been a successful fundraiser, has been a successful communicator, has been a successful organizer. Let's make sure we elect another great chairman, a true and tried Republican leader. Let's vote for Chris Eger.
I now recognize Representative Fred Doucette.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise to enthusiastically second the nomination of Chris Eger. Simply stated, the right person for the job. He has the skills, knowledge, relationships, talent, and most importantly, experience to redirect and unify, leading we, the Republican Party, toward our collective goal, Republicans winning elections. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
You have 3 minutes to speak. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my honor to rise and enthusiastically second the nomination of Chris Eger to be our next NHGOP chairman. Chris has been a mentor and a leader to me and many others for the last 4 years, and he will do great in the role of NHGOP chair, leading this team to success in November 2024.
Chris Eger is an out-of-the-box thinker and has great fundraising ideas. I had the pleasure of working with him on a fundraiser in my home in Wilton for the eventual Republican Senate nominee who would get the benefit of those funds the day after winning the primary. Some of you were in attendance that night, and many of you have expressed what a successful fundraiser we had. It is my firm conviction that electing Chris as New Hampshire GOP chair is in our party's best interest. He has the talent, know-how, and likability to be the most effective chairman we could ever hope to have. And it is my intention to do everything within my power to help Chris achieve our common goal. Thank you.
Chris?
Thank you, Steve. Okay. All right. Thank you all. I do accept the nomination, and I'm running because I want to win in 24, 26, and 28 and set us up for the future. We have the most organized, radical, and extremist Democrat Party that I've ever seen in my lifetime. It's like a dark cloud of Marxism coming over America. And with your help, we're like the cavalry. We've got to stop these people from destroying this country, and we've got to do it from the bottom up. So in the towns, the counties, and the state. And with your help, we can roll back that dark cloud. And like Catholic Charities says, each one of us is like a little candle. You light that candle, you talk to people. We expose their lies, expose all of their misinformation and disastrous policies. So we've got to do that, and the state party has to help give you the tools you need to help us do that, because we're not going to do it individually. It's got to be a team effort. We've got to be unified. I want to thank first Hillsborough County. Sorry, everybody else, but it's been awesome being the chairman of this county. And the success that people mention with Hillsborough County is not me, it's them. We just put in place a mechanism so that people could volunteer. They could do what they want. They could help how they saw fit. And they could bring all that experience and knowledge to the table. When Chris McCrae came to me and said, I want to do a machine gun shoot, I'm like, what the heck's a machine gun shoot? And now we're going into our 5th year, July 22nd. Please sign up. It's a great fundraiser for the county. Our 5th year, because one person had an idea and we empowered him to make it happen. Now, when you come with an idea, don't throw it over the fence and say, I got a great idea, good luck. Say, I got a great idea, I can help make it happen. And then you can be empowered. So to do that, I've got 6 committees I already have planned. I've got one-page sheets that have the committee, their mission, their timetable, and what we expect out of it. I've got 6 of those committees already set up, ready to go. 2 of them I already have people starting to run it a little bit in advance in anticipation, just in case. And if I lose, we can turn it over to Lou. So he can continue those committees, if he wants to. So I've got a plan. I've got a 6-year plan. I backwards plan. I look at, first, where do we want to be in 2028? What is it going to take to get there? How much money do we need to raise? How are we going to raise the money? Who's going to do it? And I get to today, and I'm already behind. So starting today, if I win, you're going to see activity as early as tonight to achieve that 6-year vision. Now, we are not going to be on messaging to appeal to people in the middle. We are not going to be Democrat light. That is no way to win. We're going to articulate our message forcefully. And we're going to get it out there to people so that they understand. The Democrats are the extremists on abortion, not us. A baby, 1 minute before they're born, they can kill it. That's extreme, not our position. And we made a mistake this year, not articulating that. We made a mistake. And we've got to own that mistake. So going forward, thank you. And I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you very much for your time.
Now, and unfortunately, no one gave me any of the speakers who were speaking. That's why I seemed a little bit lost up here. So as you come up to nominate and second somebody, if you could identify yourself, that would be great for the entire group here, okay?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Linda McGrath from Hampton, and it's my honor to nominate Lou Gargiulo for chair of the New Hampshire GOP. I've had the privilege of volunteering with Lou's New Hampshire Senate campaign team throughout last year, and I've gotten to know him very well. I had a lot of time on my hands because I lost my job as a pharmacist in 2021 when they approved the vaccines for children. I refused. Lou and I have a lot in common this way. We will always stand up for our values, no matter the consequences. An example for Lou that you may not know is during the Republican primary of 2020, Lou was pressured by people in very high places to walk away from General Bolduc. Lou refused. Lou and I also share a feeling that we're on a path that God has laid out for us. It says in Deuteronomy, pick from each of your tribes men who are wise, discerning, and experienced, and I will appoint them as your heads. It does not say good men. That is taken for granted. All three characteristics listed concern wisdom. A good society is unattainable without wisdom, and I believe that Lou is the man who has the wisdom to do what every single person in here keeps telling each other needs to be done, and that is to come together as a party. So I ask you to vote for Lou Gargiulo, and Mr. Chairman, I'd like to yield the remainder of my time to President Trump. Do I have a second?
Good morning. My name is Colonel Roy Moore. I spent 26 years in the Marine Corps defending our rights. So I know a little bit about leadership. And I can tell you today that we have no way of losing the vote today. We have two good men. I know Lou a little bit better than I know Chris, so I'll talk to Lou and what good leadership looks like. It looks like example leading from the front. It looks like someone who's been in the arena and who's led through the mire, through the sweat and blood. That's Lou. He put his name and his reputation on the line to run for office, knowing that there was a great odds of him winning. But yet he committed himself, his credibility, and his funds to at least represent us in the general election of this state. That's leadership. That's getting your face dirtied and bloodied. With that, I would like to nominate and second Lou Gargiulo.
Thank you, Linda and Roy, for your nomination, and I proudly accept it. Are you tired of losing to federal candidates for the past decade? Do you want red candidates in Washington representing us? Do you? Do you want to ensure that we have a wide majority in the New Hampshire General Court? Well, I'm the guy for you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lou Gargiulo. I'm a proud father, a husband, grandfather, selectman, and a person who's been involved in Republican politics for 3 decades. I'm here today to tell you that I seek this position, not because of me. I'm not doing this as a stepping stone to something else. I'm not looking to be governor, president, or anything. What I'm looking for is to ensure the New Hampshire advantage and the American dream is there for our children and grandchildren. And I hope all of you can relate to that. If I'm elected, I have a plan. I have a very concise plan. First, we need to raise record sums of money. When our candidates lose by 40-1, you know you have a problem. Number 2, I want to bring people together. New Hampshire has a lot of very good organizations out there, very splintered, not working together. They need to be brought in and recognize that they have a seat at the table. Everybody in here has a seat at the table. The only way you make that happen is to have a chairman who's going to reach out and make them feel that they're important. That has not happened for a very long time. Outside of that, we need to come together as a party at all levels. We need to understand what is at stake. And if you look right now, what is at stake is the American dream. There is no question about it. The situation in the school system speaks a great deal to it. The training that is going on right now is ludicrous. It's hurting our children, and it's causing more havoc in our families. We need to change that. We need to ensure that our taxation remains as it's been in New Hampshire. And rest assured, if Democrats take control, that's going to change. We can use that to our advantage, though. Going out in the business community, nobody wants a sales tax, nobody wants an income tax, nobody wants a capital gains tax. But whom? The Democrats. We need to make sure that's clearly articulated. As your chairman, I will do that. I will represent you both at the state and federal level. We will go forward
and carry the message that the New Hampshire primary, first in the nation, is what needs to happen. And under no circumstances, given our law, will we allow that to change. With that, in closing, I ask you today to look around. Is it time for change? Is it time to find someone who has not been associated with the party in any way, who's willing to give their time, talent, and treasure to make an impact? That's who I am. If that's what you're looking for and that's what you believe in, then cast your vote for me. Thank you all. God bless you, and God bless America. And live free or die.
Thank you, Lou. We've heard from both candidates. They've been nominated and seconded. We will now conduct, we are now going to hear from because both of them are on the same ballot, we're going to hear from the people who want to nominate the vice chair of the party. And again, nobody's given me any who is speaking, so Elliot, have they told you who is going to be first?
They haven't.
No.
I would just have people line up at the microphone.
Okay. Well, if you will identify who you're nominating, and then all the seconds behind that individual will follow up with seconds, and we will adhere to that because we haven't been told what's going on.
Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Hi, Kate Day. Chairman Stepanek and Vice Chair Tucker, wherever you are. It was a joy and an honor working with you the last 4 years. It's given me a great idea on how to be a great vice chair. You need someone willing to drive, like put a lot of miles on your car, the time, the effort to go from Coos to Rockingham to Cheshire, to understand all of our regions, all of our counties, and to work with people and develop their strengths and overcome their challenges. You need someone who is willing to work with our chair, and yet somebody on day one who is ready to take up the chair position if needed. Y'all look at this resume. I mean, I hadn't even read the whole thing. This is proven leadership and dedication to our party. And with that, I nominate Christine Peters for our NHGOP Vice Chair.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Mark Vincent, and I rise to enthusiastically second the nomination of Christine Peters for our state party vice chair. Christine is an all-star Republican activist and somebody I have had the great pleasure and honor of working with since I first became involved with the party in our town committee in Amherst, as we have worked together to elect Republicans for so many years. Kate had the list. You've all seen the letter. I don't have the time here right now to go through all of the ways Christine has helped our party, our candidates, and her community, or to list all the roles she has taken on in pursuit of getting the right people elected, including herself, by the way. This week she filed for re-election to the Sauhegan Cooperative School Board, which everybody in Amherst should be very, very happy about. But I will say this. When I was considering running for chair of Hillsborough County, the knowledge that Christine would be there to dedicate her time and her efforts and her enthusiasm to help with our fundraisers, as she had been doing for so many years, it made my decision a lot easier. And right after I was elected chair, my first conversation was with Christine, and she was already busy planning our next Lincoln Reagan dinner. So I know that her experience and her leadership were critical to our success, and I know she'll bring the same to our state party and work with all of our committee members, activists, and candidates to get Republicans elected at every level. Please join me in voting for Christine Peters for Vice Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, as you just heard, my name is Christine Peters, and I am so proud to stand before you today as candidate for the Vice Chair of the New Hampshire Republican Party. I've committed my whole life to fiercely supporting our platform, fundraising, and working hard to bring unity among Republicans throughout our state. We will not always agree on process or policy, but at the end of the day, I hope we can agree on what we must focus on our main goal, winning elections. The facts speak for themselves. Under Republican leadership, Granite Staters thrive, and under Democrat leadership, we all suffer. Our platform and policies offer the best solutions to the problems people face every day, but none of this matters if we can't get our message out to voters clearly. The Democrats have effectively influenced elections with a message of fear, and our best strategy will be to counter that with timely truth. As your vice chair, messaging will be a top priority. Now more than ever, we cannot give the Democrats the satisfaction of seeing us divided. In order to be successful as a party, we must make sure that all who want to be a part of the conversation are a part of the conversation. As your vice chair, I will make sure that the NHGOP isn't just an echo chamber, and your voices will be heard. You will have the open invitation to come by headquarters and share any and all ideas with me, so we can work together to make the New Hampshire Republican Party the best it's ever been. As many of you know personally, I have lengthy experience actively serving the state party at every level. Experience, combined with vision and the understanding of the chair's needs, is the strongest path to turning the ship around and winning elections. I've demonstrated organizational and leadership skills to not only support the chairman effectively, but also to serve as chairman if needed. And make no mistake, I know how to plan a grand old party. One of my greatest leadership strengths is the ability to delegate well. I bring people together and make sure everyone has a place, a plan, and a purpose. It's been an honor to come to many of your committees, and I hope you'll consider a vote for me today for Vice Chair of the New Hampshire Republican Party.
Thank you, Christina.
Hello, my name is Therese Grinnell, and I am here to nominate Randall Kelly for Vice Chair of the Republican Party. I am your typical 80% of registered Republicans who don't talk about politics in January. I had no idea we even had county committees. In my honest opinion, the party is circling the drain, and we're about to lose everything. We are purple, if not blue. We need to bring the average voter into feeling as though they can trust and get behind and support this country, this state, and this party. My dad was a man of integrity and transparency. And I'm going to leave you with the 3 quotes and why I'm supporting Randall Kelly today. My dad taught me, don't you dare say something about someone unless you're willing to say it to their face. Don't want to be shamed, don't do things that are shameful. And if they have the balls to do it, Therese, you need to have the balls to call them on it. I would ask everyone in this room, you represent thousands of Republican voters today. Did you do your diligence? Did you call General Bolduc and ask him why he withdrew? And did he trust you enough to give you a transparent, real answer? We need people that we can trust that are not going to push out the people that are here, not for political gain, not for a political resume, nothing but to save our country for our children. I thank you for your time and your consideration. Randall Kelly has demonstrated all 3 of these characteristics that my dad instilled in me. He is bold, he is brave, he is transparent, and he is clear. And he's here for his granddaughters. And for that reason, he has my vote.
My name is Kristen Jackson. I'm from Concord, and I second the nomination.
And I, Randall Kelly, accept. One of the greatest examples of a Republican, Ronald Reagan, once said, "We're only one generation from losing our freedom." Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Randall Kelly. I'm going to be your next New Hampshire Republican Party Vice Chairperson. There is no more qualified candidate than someone such as myself, a candidate who will work with the chair to recruit, educate effective, constitutionally driven candidates. There is no candidate who can rally the liberty groups such as myself. One of the groups who have become a big demographic of our party, yet unfortunately the party has left to the wayside. Under the new leadership, no longer they will be cast as lepers because they choose to align themselves with the Constitution. They choose to have our municipal and political affiliations in government run as the Constitution intended. People say change comes from great people. I've met a lot of great people who are not good. I want to be the representation of good people, a great leader. Good people built this country. They laid the foundation which our liberty, freedom, and moral standing have had themselves chipped away for decades by the failed leadership and misrepresentation we call the Republican Party. Everything from election integrity to the sexualization of our children to the exceptions of transgenderism has found itself with very little opposition from within the party. Once we get our grads and our candidates elected, we can educate them in a hall they have not been. We must then execute, execute, execute. Then we can recruit, recruit, recruit. Stop this passive, fickle approach to political change. We are cheating New Hampshire, we are cheating our children, and we are cheating ourselves into believing the path we are traveling is prosperous for the New Hampshire Republican Party's future. Folks, we're 0 for 14 sending people to Washington. That is not the representation of proper leadership. I understand there's a lot of factors that come into play to make that happen, but I think I represent the leadership with direction from the chair that we can stop this state, one of the greatest in our nation, from turning blue. We are very purple right now, and I don't know that you really, really, really are acknowledging that. If we do not redirect this course starting today, we're doomed. I'm a proud Republican, a proud conservative, and one hell of a fed-up American. And most importantly, a fed-up citizen of New Hampshire. I'm tired, as you are, of seeing the party with no more tenacity or willingness to fight. I, Randall Kelly, as a candidate, will find the best candidates and volunteers for the job and facilitate it through to a successful conclusion. So in closing, remember, when you cast your vote today, it's only you who knows who you voted for. Remembering that, I hope you choose Randall Kelly as your next Republican Party Vice Chair. Thank you. God bless America, God bless New Hampshire, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
Ooh, this is tall. See how short I am right now. Hi, everybody. I'm Kate Baker Demers, your friendly neighborhood school choice lady. Thank you. I rise today to nominate Ryan Terrell for vice chair of the party. Ryan is a partner of ours in expanding education opportunities in New Hampshire, and we're so grateful for his volunteering on the State Board of Ed, making sure that education innovation in public schools, learn everywhere, private schools, are all moved forward in New Hampshire. It was about as easy to get him nominated and confirmed to the State Board of Ed as it would be to get me confirmed with a Democrat majority. Andrew Valinsky at the time didn't think Ryan was a good fit for the State Board of Ed. They voted down his nomination and disparaged him. It was at that point that I knew Ryan and I would be good friends. So thank you again to Ryan for his work moving forward education freedom. Thank you to the Executive Council, our current Republican majorities who confirmed him. Ryan is a persuasive leader. You might have seen one of his op-eds. He's a great listener. He operates with integrity, and I'm extremely jealous of his gorgeous hair. Join me in supporting this extremely effective education freedom principled advocate so he can do for our party what he's done for education freedom in New Hampshire. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am Kyle Sanborn of Guilford, and I second the motion to nominate Ryan Terrell for the position of Vice Chair. To all of you esteemed NHRSC members, to all of my friends, allies, and fellow patriots also embarking on this journey to preserve and expand freedom and liberty for all generations, I stand here today and respectfully ask that you would join with me and cast your vote for Ryan Terrell to be the next Vice Chair. I had heard about Ryan and through the malicious attacks that the Democrats had waged against him, which immediately told me he was a legitimate threat to them. But it wasn't until the first time I met him that it became abundantly clear that Ryan is ready for a leadership role on this committee. When I had met him just a few weeks ago at the 405 pub in Laconia, I was more than thoroughly impressed. What Ryan says resonates. When he spoke with courage, confidence, conviction, and wisdom well beyond his youthful years. His messaging is spot on, and the way he delivers it is truly captivating. Ryan is also on our State Board of Education, and in politics today, education is ground zero. This last election cycle, we lost big time with the younger voters. Ryan has the ability to reach them and convince them that they are actually conservative Republicans. Thank you, and please vote for Ryan Terrell.
Hello, fellow Republicans. First of all, glory be to God. And secondly, thank you all for the service that you all do today. This is not an easy decision that you have in front of you. The reason why I'm running for vice chair is, as you may have heard, I've been serving for the past 2 years on the State Board of Education, where we see the fight for our children's minds come across our desk at least once a month. We see the push for diversity, equity, and inclusion. We see the push for CRT. We see the capture and the corrosion of our education system in real time, and I am forcefully and eagerly excited to stop that progress in our education system. Thank you. You know, I did not have the great fortune, like many of you, to be born in New Hampshire. I chose it to be my home in 2011 after receiving an academic scholarship to SNHU. I chose to stay here because those words, live free or die, because death is not the best of all evils, resonates with me. We have a country to save. We have a conservative platform that has the solutions. We have great patriots in this room. We have business leaders in this room. We have dedicated volunteers in this room. The role of the vice chair, along with the rest of the leadership, is to plant a flag, communicate who we are, and enjoin people to join our causes to save this great country and to save this great state. I have a record of experience in the private sector doing that. I'm the only candidate that spends his time gaining market territory, increasing budgets, and making branding and marketing messages for a private company that we sell across the state. We have a lot of work to do, and I know working alongside of the rest of the e-board and all of you that we can do it. I'm humbly asking for your vote today because I know that we have a lot of work to do and a great party to build and to be proud of. And again, glory be to God, glory to all of you, and thank you for the work that you do. I humbly ask for your vote today, and I appreciate that it is not an easy decision, but it's one that we have to make. Thank you all.
Thank you to all of these candidates who have put their name forward. You've heard from the candidates for chair and the candidates for vice chair. We will now commence with the voting, and Elliot Galt, our executive director, will go through the mechanics of how that's going to occur.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you. We're going to try to do this in the most efficient way possible. So I've got folks with ballots that are going to be in all of these rows. So what I'm going to do is, if you are standing in an aisle right now and you are a voting credentialed member, please find a row to sit in. So someone like where Chris Maidman is, he needs to get into a row. Sorry, buddy. So that said, we're going to ask everybody to stand up. You're going to hold your ballot out, and the ballot givers are going to go down the rows. Hold out your credential. I'm sorry. Hold out your credential. They're going to count when they point at you. You're going to sit down, so that way we make sure we distribute the right amount of ballots per row. You'll vote. And then Todd and Mikey will be up here in the front, one in that row, one in this row, and you can come after all the ballots have been distributed and put your ballot in the box. For those of you in the back, Joe Sweeney will be over there in the corner, and you can distribute your ballots there. So at this time, if I could have everybody stand, and ballot distributors, please start distributing ballots. No. Just hang.
Again, once you have completed your ballot, Todd Schuing and Mikey Sweats are in the front of the rows. We ask you to bring your ballot to the front row. Mike Biendo.
One, two, three.
Jose, you'll have to come all the way to the front here. Not like that. We ran out of boxes, so you come all the way. Merrimack County, Belknap County, and Concord, to cast your votes, you will come all the way to the front, please.
All right, ballot giver-outers, we still have some folks in the front center that haven't gotten ballots yet, so we need to make sure those folks get ballots.
Alia, can you see me up front here?
Don't worry, Senator Carson. We got you. The ballots are being given out to your right, my left. They're being passed down your row as we speak. Tanya, easy. We're coming. Grafton and Coos. Do people still need ballots up top? Okay, they're coming.
As we cast our ballots, the individuals who are serving as observers for the candidates will meet me at the exit sign over there. So it's 2 per candidate, and that is it. So 2 people for Chris Ager, 2 people for Lou Gargiulo, 2 people for Randall, 2 people for Ryan, and 2 people for Christine.
Just a heads up on the schedule for today. After we finish this ballot and all ballots are cast, we will then immediately roll into nominations for treasurer, assistant treasurer, and assistant secretary. Those people nominating those positions, please also meet my right, your left, by the exit sign where you'll be giving those nominations.
And following those nomination speeches, we will then break for lunch from 11:45 to 12:15. Everybody has to be in their seats by 12:15. Doors will be closed at 12:15. If you're caught outside, you're caught outside. So you have to be in here and in your seat at 12:15.
All right. Is everyone in the front made sure to cast their ballot?
Right. At this time, is there anyone who has not received a ballot? If you have not received a ballot at this time, please lift your credential high above your head.
Brian, you haven't received a ballot? Oh, okay. If you have received and counted your ballot, can you please sit? If you have had your ballot passed in, please be seated so that way we can make sure we get everybody. All right. And once, Todd, you want to leave that up here. Once the ballots, if those who have the ballot boxes, if everybody's ballot's been handed in, you can bring them on down front.
Jody Nelson to the microphone.
All right. Is there anyone who has yet to cast a ballot? All right. All ballots have been in. I'm closing off balloting. All right. Again, those observers who are helping observe the count will please join me by that exit sign over there because we have to walk to a secure area. So if you are one of the observers, please go to that back corner. And would Joe Sweeney, Todd, and Mikey join me back there? Yeah, can you take those with you? Mikey, can you help? We're going to grab these and go in the back corner. Last call for observers who are watching the ballot counting. I'll take those. Because we have to walk you to a secure area. If you are not by the door by the time I get there, you will miss out. Thank you.
Any observers for the vice chair candidates? I need observers for ballot counting for the vice chair candidates right now at the side door. Vice chair ballot observers need you right now.
Okay, if everybody could settle down and get back into the seats, we're going to start the nomination process for treasurer, and then we're going to roll right into the nomination process for assistant treasurer and assistant secretary. So I need everybody in their seats right now. If everybody could settle down, if anybody is out in the lobby, if you can come in from the lobby, we are going to start the nomination process for the treasurer right now.
Sorry, that's why I said it. I was rushing.
I need the people who are doing the nomination and seconding for the treasurer's candidates to get to the microphone where...
Who's doing Alan? Your second? Come on up.
Okay, Andrew's got his hand up. Do we have them lined up yet?
We are ready, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I see a lot of empty seats. We are starting the nomination process for the treasurer.
Yep.
Okay. So let's kick it off. Identify yourself and...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am Chris Buda from Nashua, and I'd like to nominate Alan Glassman for treasurer of the New Hampshire Republican State Committee.
Hold on one. Could everybody please be respectful and settle down so that we can hear the nomination speeches? Thank you.
Thank you. All right. My name is Chris Buda from Nashua. I would like to nominate Alan Glassman of Barnstead for treasurer of the New Hampshire Republican State Committee. We need someone who will submit accurate and timely financial reports. Alan has a good track record doing that over the many years. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to go back to the bad old days when we had bad FEC filings and things like that. So we need a steady hand at the office of treasurer, and I nominate Alan Glassman. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Bill Wright from Belmont. I'm here to second the nomination of Alan Glassman for treasurer. Alan has experience in providing accurate and complete records, financial records, as he's done over the last couple of years. His background in finance and related matters makes him a clear choice for this position. Let's keep the continuity of the financial reporting and accountability with Alan. Please consider casting your vote for Alan. Thank you.
Well, here I am again. Sorry about that. And of course, many of you know me for being a photographer, but I'll just get to the point here. Oh, I accept the nomination. I'm sorry. Well, that was getting the photography part out of there, so now I'm accepting the nomination as treasurer of the State Republican Committee. I served as the assistant treasurer for 2 years in 2019 to 2020. And now for 2 years as treasurer, 2021 to 2022. And probably some of you are wondering, what the heck is this job that people are doing as treasurers? And the fact of the matter is that the treasurer has to work with income and expenses and versus the budget that we have to make sure that we've got things under control all the time, that we're not letting something slip by in the wrong direction. The fact of the matter is that we have to provide results to the Secretary of State. We have to file paperwork to them, and we also have to file paperwork 3 times a year, monthly, quarterly, and annually to the FEC, which is the Federal Election Commission. And it's really something that requires a lot of effort. And at the same time, I'm going to point out that I'm just going to send a reminder to many of you who may not have filed your financial reports. The Secretary of State and the Attorney General have made an exception here, so please make sure that you take care of that. Let me give you a little bit of background why I'm doing this as treasurer. I have a financial services background in the insurance industry, and when I first had a position after college at the Travelers Insurance Company in Hartford, Connecticut, I was involved in creating software and actually selling it to our customers either within the company or outside. And it was something that I ended up doing for 35 years, even to managing it, and I actually enjoyed it. And so this is why I'm involved in this kind of work. But let me go beyond that and talk about my Republican activities. I've been the area vice chair for 4.5 years, and I've also been the county chair for Belknap County for 10 years, 5 consecutive two-year terms, which came to an end in 2020. Anyway, the bottom line is that I really enjoyed doing that as well. And of course, we had the cruise on the Mount Washington that I'm sure many of you were on many times. Also, I live in Barnstead, and I'm on the Budget Committee, and I'm also on the recycling facility that we have there on the Board of Directors. With that said, I ask you for your vote, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. I would ask everybody to keep the chatter down out of respect for the candidates so that they can be heard by all of us. So if you could please keep the chatter down, that would be greatly appreciated.
My name is Jose Cambrils from Merrimack County, and I would like to nominate for treasurer Dawn Johnson. Dawn is a wonderful patriot. She's a former state rep, and she has all of the accounting and financial background to be able to do the job. And again, I would hope that you would join me in voting for her, as she is a true patriot. Thank you.
I'm here to second that nomination, Dawn Johnson for treasurer.
Dawn to the podium.
Dawn, are you here? Okay, we will hold her speech until she arrives, if somebody could let her know. I find that highly unusual, but okay, we'll move forward. At this point in time, we're going to hear from the Assistant Treasurer. So if those nominations and assistant and seconds will start, that would be great. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Mark Vincent, and I rise to nominate Janice Matthews from the town of Ware for Assistant Treasurer of our state party. Janice is starting her second term as treasurer of the Hillsborough County Republican Committee, where she has been a key member of a leadership team that has set all-time records for HCRC fundraising. More events, more donors, more filing of compliance forms with the state, it all adds up to more work for the treasurer, and we are extremely fortunate that Janice is willing to donate so much of her time to do this work for our county committee. Janice has also served as treasurer for her town Republican Committee. She's currently a member of the Town Finance Committee in Ware and is the treasurer for a federal political action committee. Janice recently retired from a nearly 35-year career in the defense and aerospace industry, where she was responsible for $10 million plus budgets and contractual negotiations worth over $140 million. It's safe to say that Janice knows finance, knows budgets, and is well-versed in political fundraising and the duties of a treasurer of a political organization. She now wishes to bring that experience, enthusiasm, and dedication to the NHGOP and partner with our treasurer to do the work needed to manage our finances. I would strongly encourage all of my fellow state committee members to support Janice for this important position. She is a conservative Republican who shares our values of smaller government, low taxes, and local control, and she will be an excellent addition to the executive board, as her focus will always be where it needs to be: fundraising, supporting our Republican nominees, and winning big on Election Day. Please vote Janice Matthews for Assistant Treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris Maidman, Hillsborough County, to second the nomination for Janice Matthews to be Assistant Treasurer. Not only does Janice have the qualifications to do the job, but she'll bring a new perspective to the executive board without replacing anybody else. I look forward to serving with Janice on the executive committee, and I ask that everybody here please vote for Janice Matthews to be the Assistant Treasurer for the New Hampshire Republican State Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. I will at this point make a clarification. We've had a slight change in the schedule. The president is going to be a few minutes late, so we moved ahead the nominations for treasurer, assistant treasurer, so that everybody will be still getting out of here at the same time. Unfortunately, which I was unaware of, it was decided that if you weren't a state party member, not to come until after the president had been here. So some of these nominees who aren't present, it's due not to their fault. So I just want to make everybody aware of that. And so the fact that they're not here to accept their nomination is not their fault. And as chairman, I will accept responsibility for that. But they will be given an opportunity to accept the nomination upon their arrival, and we will move forward, okay?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Chris, for the nomination and the introduction. I accept. I'm Janice Matthews, and I would be honored to serve the New Hampshire Republicans as Assistant Treasurer. If you all read the email I sent you last week to most of you, or listened just now to the nomination, you received a tiny recap of my professional career and political activities since I've retired. I hope your takeaway is agreement that I'm well qualified and eager to serve. Enough about me. I'd like to talk about all of you for just a moment. Additional breadth and depth on the executive committee is necessary to do the things which need to be done to achieve the end goal, which is electing more Republicans. You, and only you, have the power to expand the knowledge base, increase the depth of leadership, and boost the number of capable, energetic people working on the executive committee. You do that today, right now, by voting for me, Janice Matthews, for Assistant Treasurer. I thank you for your attention, and more importantly, I thank you for your vote, and I look forward to getting busy, down to work with you to put more Republicans in office. Thank you.
We will now move to recognize the representative, Wayne McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And hello, fellow state committee members. It's my honor to stand here today and nominate Jim McEachran, the current Assistant Treasurer of the Republican State Committee, for another term. I've been on the State Executive Committee many times and many years over the course of time, as many of you know, 47 to be exact, off and on. And the Assistant Treasurer's position has often been discussed and said, why do we have one? Nobody else has one. Why do we need an Assistant Treasurer? And many of the people who have occupied that position over the years have done very little with it. Jim has been probably the most effective, engaged, and knowledgeable Assistant Treasurer, certainly in my political lifetime. He has been an invaluable partner with the Treasurer. He's been an invaluable advisor with the Chairman, the staff, the Executive Committee. He's really gotten into the intricacies of our finance, and I would urge you to please join with me in re-electing him. Jim excels at everything he does for our party, and we need him back. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jody Nelson. I am here to second the nomination of Jim McEachran for Assistant Treasurer. I'll keep it short and sweet. We have a lot to do today. I have been working side by side with Jim for over 15 years, working on in all aspects of what we do with our party. He's passionate, he's hardworking, and he's got a head for numbers. And I'm asking you to please re-elect him in order to keep the momentum going that he started. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I accept the nomination for Assistant Treasurer to the NHGOP. For those that don't know me, I'm Jim McEachran. I am currently the Assistant Treasurer of the New Hampshire Republican Party, running for re-election. I have worked for the last several years with Alan Glassman, our treasurer, to enhance the financial position and ensure our records are up to date and accurate. And during the last 2 years, I'm proud to say that all our records, both state and federal level, have passed all reviews. During these past 2 years, we have also implemented process enhancements to ensure records, reports, funding sources meet the needs of the NHGOP and support the needs of all of our candidates. You heard Alan's report tonight that we started the year and ended the year with funds in hand so that we could enhance those positions and help in our special election. As to my background in my professional life, I've been a project manager, program manager, up to vice president, general manager of a product development company. In these roles, I have been responsible for budgeting, financing, growing businesses within the budget to meet not only the needs of my company, but the needs of my customers. In my community activity, I have been elected to the Derry Town Council on multiple terms, spending time as vice chair and chairman, and all 9 years been part of the budget committee and known as the numbers guy in the town of Derry setting budgets. As far as the Derry GOP goes, I've been a past vice chairman and chairman, and during this time we've always been very successful with our Republican representatives and county officials always getting elected. In fact, in this past election, all Republican state reps, county officials, state and federal candidates won in Derry. I know what it takes to be successful and win, and I have a proven track record of getting the job done in every position I held. I am asking for your vote and support to continue as the Assistant Treasurer of the NHGOP. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will now move into the Assistant Secretary.
Hello, my name is Julie Tucker from Ryan, New Hampshire, and I nominate Kirsten Larson Schultz for Assistant Secretary to New Hampshire GOP. Kirsten grew up in New Hampshire, went to UNH, and is a mother, wife, and small business owner. She is a past state representative from Somersworth, New Hampshire, and is currently co-chair of the Northampton Republicans Town Committee and also serves on multiple local town boards. She is a lifelong conservative, and she has shown she is able to bring the community together and foster local Republican activism. She has created and managed social media sites that are very popular to advocate on town issues such as private property and parental rights. I live in a neighboring town to Kirsten, and I have admired her energy and work ethic and the fact that she lives her beliefs. That energy and work ethic would be a great addition to the New Hampshire Executive Committee. She has shown her ability to positively advocate for Republican issues and reach out and include many, especially the young people we need to bring into the party. I think she is a great representative for the New Hampshire Party and would be a wonderful asset to the Executive Committee. Thank you.
My name is David Hagan. I am the chairman of the Hampton GOP, and I am proud to second the nomination for Kirsten Larson Schultz. I've known her for a while. She'll do a wonderful job, so please consider voting for Kirsten. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kirsten Larson Schultz, and I gracefully accept the nomination. I grew up in Sullivan and Grafton County, graduated from UNH twice, am a former state rep from Stratford County, and am currently an active community advocate in Rockingham County with my husband and 9-year-old daughter. So you could say I'm forged by granite. Both my husband and I are small business owners. I'm currently a freelance marketing consultant with over 27 years experience in all facets of marketing and public relations. I became politically active during the Obamacare debate, and although there was a short pause after the birth of my daughter, I always look for opportunities to be actively involved and give back to my community. I served as state rep for Somersworth in 2011 and 12, clerk of state and federal relations and veterans affairs. Since moving to Northampton in 2013, I have actively been involved in my community on several local boards and committees. I started several Facebook groups as a space for open community dialogue. I am the co-chair of our town committee, and I will always advocate my community for those who are afraid to speak out. I'm currently fighting for a resident's property rights trying to be seized in an eminent domain grab for a cell tower. I made 2 unsuccessful state rep runs in 2020 and 2022. However, as part of my campaign efforts this summer, I personally knocked on 750 doors and really got a firsthand pulse of the voters. I am running because I believe the party needs to evolve, become more aggressive, play offense, target Gen Z voters, and most importantly, to build locally and apply a truly grassroots, bottom-up, not top-down strategy. I have the background, skills, and fortitude to be an integral part of this strategy. But integrity matters most to me. I will never agree to do anything or vote for something if it means forsaking my integrity. I believe in God's plan and will follow whatever doors He leads me through with a mission to be the salt and light. In closing, it's a running joke amongst my family and friends that I have an inability to say no to an opportunity, especially when the pay is zero, much to my husband's chagrin. So here I am asking for your vote for Assistant Secretary. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. We will continue with the nominations for Assistant Secretary. We will then have nominations for the Secretary, which is an uncontested position, so we will do that last, and we will hopefully cast one vote.
Hi, I'm Beth Scare of Nashua, and I nominate Thad Riley for Assistant Secretary of the NHGOP.
Good afternoon. My name is Greg Huff. I'm the current chair of the Belknap County Republican Committee, and it is my distinct honor to second the nomination of Thad Riley for Assistant Secretary of the NHGOP. Thad possesses the qualities that will help make the NHGOP successful. He is a selfless team player who will do whatever it takes to accomplish our goals. I ask that you cast your vote for Thad Riley for the Assistant Secretary of the NHGOP.
I'm Executive Counselor Dave Wheeler, and I proudly am endorsing Thad Riley. I met Thad he was on the campaign trail around the state, and Thad gets into, primary when he's running for governor, and had already been fighting around and around the state, and Thad has a very good background in marketing and statistics and analysis. I think he'd be a great member on the state committee and as Assistant Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, Thad will be speaking after the President speaks.
Okay, great. Now we will move into the nomination for Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. George Hansel from Cheshire. I'm very proud to nominate the incredible Jane Lane, a fellow Keene resident, to be our Secretary. She served us very, very well. I think you'd all agree for the last 4 terms, and I hope you will join me in voting for her and supporting her for many more. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, my name is Michael Aaron from the great town of Ackworth, New Hampshire. I am also the chair of Sullivan County Republicans, and I am honored to second the nomination for Jane Lane for Secretary of the NHGOP.
Mr. Chair, with no other speakers or nominations, I make a motion to close nominations at this time.
There's been a motion made and seconded to close the nominations for Secretary. Are all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? I cast one vote for Jane Lane as Secretary and ask her to come up here and say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very few words. The shortest speech today of acceptance. I accept your nomination and your vote, and I'm happy to move forward for another 2 years. And thank you, George and Mike, for nominating me and seconding the nomination.
Now, just housekeeping. We are going to be breaking now for lunch. So we have a half hour for lunch. from 11:45 to 12:15. I will again remind everybody they must be in the room at 12:15. If they are not in this hall, the doors will be closed and you will not be allowed in. So don't get trapped. Don't forget the time while you're in the bathroom. Make sure you are in here at 12:15, butts in your chairs, and we will proceed with the program at 12:15.
There is a variety of food in the lobby. Again, food is available in the lobby for purchase from the Salem GOP. I cannot reiterate enough, 12:15, the doors will close. Please, the doors will close at 12:15. Be in your seat.
And if Elliot is in the hall, could you see me up here?
Check, check, check.
Elliot, if you're around, could you come up to the stage here for me? Elliot Galt.
Check, check, check.
Excuse me. Can I have Chris Ager and Lou Gargiulo to the stage? Oh. If I can have everyone please be seated. If everyone could please grab a seat. What is that? Coos County, Carroll County, if you guys don't mind grabbing a seat. Yeah, they can come after. I think they're shutting everything off because of the president. They can come after he speaks.
Good afternoon, everyone. As I stand before you for the last time as the chairman of the New Hampshire Republican Party, I wanted to tell you all a little short story. My lovely wife, Ellen, who is here today, really likes golf, and she's really good at it. I, on the other hand, pretend to play golf. Back in April of 2014, Dave Bossy, president of Citizens United, was holding his Freedom Summit, bringing 12 potential 2016 presidential candidates to Manchester. Ellen had gotten tickets to attend the Cadillac Doral Golf Tournament in Miami in March. While we were at the tournament, Ellen spots Donald Trump riding by in his golf cart, and she chases him down. Ellen can be a little impetuous. When I catch up, she's engaged him in full-fledged conversation, how we are from New Hampshire, how we were looking forward to seeing him next month at the Freedom Summit. Mr. Trump said he was looking forward to coming to New Hampshire and how he was exploring a run for president. As we walked away, Ellen turned to me and said, if he runs for president, all the ups and downs of that campaign, all the twists and turns, Ellen was always by my side. I want to start by thanking you, Ellen, for your insight, for your unwavering support, and most of all, for your love. As we look forward to 2024, let's take a quick look back at 2016. Before I decided to support Donald Trump for president, I spoke with most of the other candidates looking to run. Each, I posed the same question. How are you going to control the secret government that runs this country? How are you going to control the bureaucracy? Most responses were double talk or politically correct speech. When I asked Donald Trump, he looked at me and said, Representative Stepanek, we are going to have to drain the swamp. As Donald Trump has done great things for this country. He began constructing a wall along our southern border and addressed our foreign policy issues. He appointed very talented men and women to federal bench as well as the Supreme Court. And he supercharged our economy. But above all, he took action to drain the swamp. Of all the issues President Trump undertook during his tenure, draining the swamp proved to be the most difficult of all. No one had ever bothered to attempt such a daunting objective, but President Trump wasn't backing down. The swamp holds creatures of all sorts. Democrats, progressives, socialists, communists, and unfortunately even some Republicans. You see, the swamp is home to those who consider themselves an elitist class. They see themselves as the best and brightest, smarter than any of us in this room. And I believe they believe they have all the answers, even when they clearly do not. But the scariest trait shared among those in the swamp is they have come to convince themselves that they, and only they, know what is best, not only for themselves, but for all of us. Their quest for power is never ending. There is only one man who can put an end to this, and that man is Donald J. Trump. Now, looking ahead to 2024, plenty of qualified individuals come to mind, all of which stand miles ahead of any Democrat looking to enter the field. But regardless of which side of the aisle they stand on, they share one thing in common. They want to build on and continue the policies of President Trump. Politicians have talked about building the wall for over 30 years. There's only one person who stepped up and did it. Politicians have been talking about moving the embassy to Jerusalem, both Democrat and Republican, for over 30 years. And who was the one person who had the backbone to do it? Donald J. Trump. Politicians of all stripes have talked about, especially Republicans, about reducing the size of government and reducing the bureaucracy. But under every single Republican, it has gotten greater and more powerful. There's only one person who can drain the swamp. There's only one person who will take on that daunting task, and that one person is Donald J. Trump. Anybody can campaign on the policies and rhetoric of Donald Trump. There's only one person who, when elected as president in 2024, will, without a doubt, continue Trump's policies. He will continue to build the wall. He will continue to drain the swamp. He has a proven ability to deliver for the American people, fighting to make America great again for our families, our children, our grandchildren, and every generation that follows. That one person is Donald J. Trump. After 2 terms of serving you as chairman of the New Hampshire Republican Party, I am closing one chapter, and I am excitingly reopening another with my official endorsement of President Donald J. Trump for president in 2024. It is now my great honor to welcome to New Hampshire and to the New Hampshire Republican Party annual meeting, President Donald J. Trump.
That was great. What a good job. I've known this gentleman for 7 years. I've never heard him make a speech. I'm with him all the time. He talked. That was a very good speech. Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, we're here, and we start. We begin. And I want to thank New Hampshire for the warm welcome outside. There are literally thousands of people. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're all, and no negatives, all positives. And it's really beautiful, and it's a great welcome, and I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful state that we all love, so near and dear to my heart. I want to take a moment to salute your incredible outgoing chairman. Steve, what a job you've done. You've really done a great job. Steve, stepping up. 2 terms, outstanding service to the New Hampshire GOP. And Steve, just congratulations on a job well done. You work so hard. He loves the state. He loves the people of the state. And we all love you, Steve. And that's why I'm going to be making an announcement about Steve. Should I do it or should I just leave it? I'm I'm really excited to do this because I know so many people. And so many people would like to do it, but Steve is going to be stepping down, and he'll be coming on board as the senior advisor for my New Hampshire campaign. And he's going to help us to ensure that we have a win in the Granite State in 2024. We stop the communists, we stop the Marxists. If we don't stop them this time, I think that's going to be the end. I really do. I believe that. I believe that we have to stop them, and we have to stop them quickly. Although your next state chairman has not been announced, I believe they're going to be doing that right after this. I want to congratulate both candidates, Lou and Chris, 2 incredible guys, for having the courage to step forward and serve. You'll be hearing about that shortly. Let me also thank the New Hampshire House Speaker, Sherm Packard. Sherm? Nice-looking guy. Central casting, very good. Isn't he, really? House Majority Leader Jason Osborne. Jason? Hi, Jason. How are you? Thank you. Great job, Jason. Deputy House Majority Leader Fred Doucette. Fred? Hello, Fred. You know, they're shy politicians. That means they do their job. You know, the ones that aren't shy, they don't do their job. They sit down, they don't have to get up, because everyone knows the great job they've done. Thank you very much. Great job. All of you. Senate Majority Leader Sharon Carson. Sharon. Sharon, thank you, Sharon. Great job, Sharon. And Executive Counselor Dave Wheeler. Dave. Dave. Thank you. Thank you very much. As someone who has won the New Hampshire presidential primary not once but twice, and by the way, I believe we also won 2 general elections, okay, if you want to know the truth. And I believe it very strongly, and plenty of other places also. But I know better than anybody what a special role the state has, the people have, and really it's a place for American presidents. And one of the things I told him, Steve, you can help with the campaign a little bit, but what I really want is help on that final day of voting. You know, it used to be a day, right, with paper ballots. Now it's, in some cases, 64 days. How about that? We have 64 days to vote. And we have all machines, we have no paper, we have no nothing, and lots of surprises. I said, I really want the biggest help to be on election day or election period. Think of that, we have to call it an election period. Someday we'll be back to paper ballots, we'll be back to voter ID, we'll be back to doing it the way it's supposed to be, one-day voting. You know, in France, they had an election, it was one day, they had 38 million people. It took one day, and by 10 o'clock at evening, all the votes were counted. You had a winner, you had a loser, and everybody said, good luck, see you next time. But we don't have that in this country anymore. We've gone crazy in so many ways. But that's why from the very beginning, I've strongly defended New Hampshire's first in the nation primary status. I have been your defender. No, I've been your defender. And I've refused to let any Republican, and there are some, you know who they are, even think about taking that cherished status away. It's a cherished status, and they wanted to take it away. And we said, no, we're not going to do it. You see what's going on with the Democrats. They're taking lots of things away. And believe me, there are so many people looking to do harm to, and for generally no reason. You have an incredible tradition, and we're going to keep that tradition, and we guarantee it. And I said it last time, and I said it the time before, and I've lived up to that promise just as I have many other promises. So you have it. You're first, and you're going to remain first, okay? But if you look, just to try and compare it, look on the other hand, lost the New Hampshire primary. Joe Biden lost it badly. And it was a very tough time. He had a humiliating 5th place defeat, and now he's taking a revenge on the voters of your state by cruelly and disgracefully trashing this beloved political tradition. It's a great tradition. And I hope you're going to remember that during the general election. Don't worry about it now, just general election. You're going to remember that he took it away. He took it away. He's going someplace else. You know about that. Now, maybe that'll be stopped legally or through the courts. I don't know, but he wants to take it away from New Hampshire. I stand before you today and make this solemn pledge. When I'm back in the White House, I will ensure that New Hampshire remains the home of the first in nation Republican primary for many, many years to come. And I think maybe more than anything else, I've proven that I keep my promises. I've proven it more than just about any president, they say. But it's a true privilege to have this opportunity to speak with you on my very first trip back to New Hampshire. This is about the beginning, you know. This is it. We're starting right here as a candidate for president. And you've probably seen the polls. We're really doing great. You know, remember I used to, in 2016, I talked about polls all the time. In 2020, I didn't have to because we didn't have a lot of competition. We had no competition. And I don't think we have competition this time either, to be honest. But I talked about the polls. And I will say that our polls, we are so far ahead in the polls, both in New Hampshire. One came out this morning, a very nice poll, we're way ahead. And one came out yesterday, a nationwide poll, and we're 35 points up, 39 points up. That's a lot. We won't play prevent defense like they do in football, though, however. You know about prevent defense? The team holds them, and there's no way they hold them for almost 4 quarters, and then they have to just stop them one more time, and they go to prevent, and they always lose, don't they? We don't do prevent defense. We just keep defending, and we're going to win, and we're going to win very big. But our polls have been fantastic. Everyone in this room shares the one key mission. We're going to defeat Joe Biden, and the radical Democrats. These are radical left people. I think in many cases they're Marxists and communists, and I used to say that seldom. Now I say it all the time because they are. You look at what they're doing to our country, and we're going to turn New Hampshire red on November 5th, 2024, and I hope we can have the help of everybody. Under Biden, our nation is being destroyed by a selfish, radical, and corrupt political establishment. That's what it is. Nobody even knows why. Why are they doing these things? Guys like Adam Shifty Schiff, AOC +3. The three love it when I say that, you know. They love that. They love hearing AOC +3. Oh, I'm one of the three, but they're bad. Crazy Nancy Pelosi and crying Chuck Schumer. And the group, they're running our country right into the ground. They're destroying our country. To save America, we need a leader who's prepared to take on the forces laying waste to our country. And we need a president who is ready to hit the ground running on day one. And I hear, boy, am I hitting the ground. You know, I said, the fake news, we have a lot of news today. Some of it's fake, but some of it actually are very good. Some I'm very impressed with. But they said, when I announced, I just want to put my cards on the table. Like, you know, we're playing that very big game right now, the biggest game of all, because it involves the country and the survival of the United States of America. But when I put the cards on, and then I said, all right, let's go. They said, he's not campaigning. This is like about a month ago when I announced. Well, I said, you know, I got 2 years. They said, he's not doing rallies. He's not campaigning. Maybe he's lost that step. I'm more angry now, and I'm more committed now than I ever was, because I read a story where they talked about why isn't he out there? It was like on a Friday night, and then I actually did something that night, little low-key stuff, and there is lots of work. We have great people with us, amazing people that I've met and really gotten to know, because as a non-politician, I didn't know anybody. I went to Washington. I tell the story of driving down Pennsylvania Avenue with our great First Lady, and I'm looking over, and I'm saying, I saw the hotel that I built. It was very, very successful in Pennsylvania, and we had more police and more. I never saw anything like it. We're going down Pennsylvania, crowds are cheering and just going absolutely crazy. Motorcycles all over the place, hundreds of motorcycles, and so beautiful, beautiful weather, beautiful everything. I looked at our First Lady, I said, do you believe it? I'm the President of the United States. And I was never a big Washington person, you know, it wasn't my world. I was a New York person, so I didn't know the people in Washington like a politician would, who spent 25 years and then ran for president. So I had to learn, and I had to learn quick. And I've learned over 4 years. I know the great ones, and I know the not good ones. I know the rhinos that aren't going to get it done, and I know people that are going to really get it done. I had to rely on, in many cases, some rhinos that we didn't even know if they were rhinos or not. But, you know, they're more dangerous in many ways than the Democrats, I tell you. They are actually. They're more dangerous. And we have incredible people. You know, when you think of what we've done, we had the largest tax cut in the history of our country. We had the largest regulation cuts in the history of our country. We had the safest southern border in the history of our country. We had the least amount of drugs in decades and decades. Right now, it's 10 times the drugs are pouring into our southern border as when I left. Think of that, 10 times. Not 100% more. Think of that, 10 times more. It's coming in like water and cheaper than candy. Fentanyl, you buy cheaper than candy. You can go buy a candy bar, costs you much more than fentanyl, and they can kill the entire nation with it. And frankly, that's probably what they're trying to do. So we had it done, and we had a great thing going, and we had built hundreds of miles of wall. All of the things that we did to make it so good. Stay in Mexico. Nobody even heard of it. Stay in Mexico. Mexico said to us, well, we're not going to do it. I said, yes, you are. You are. I said, no. You're going to do it, 100%. Then a representative came down, and I dealt with somebody, a very nice woman for the State Department. She worked with Mexico, on Mexico for 25 years. Very nice. She said, sir, you can't get these things. Stay in Mexico. They'll never agree to that. They'll never agree to any of this stuff. I also said I want 28,000 soldiers from Mexico guarding our borders. Will you pay for it? No, we're not paying anything. And so she smiled, and not as a bad person. She smiled. She thought it was an immature ask. I said, no, we'll get it. 100 to 1. I mean, I will tell you, it's not even a chance that we want. They said, sir, okay. Then the representative from Mexico came into the room. I'll never forget. Nice guy, too, quality guy. And I really like, even though he's a socialist, I really like the president of Mexico. We have a very good friend. In fact, it took him a long time to call up President Biden. It took him a long time. He couldn't, there were many leaders of countries that just couldn't do it. They didn't believe it, actually, even though we were very tough on many countries. We were tougher on Russia than anybody would have been. As you know, that would have never happened. The horror show that's going on right now would have never happened. But many, many countries felt that way. They just, didn't believe the result. But I said, here's what we need. We need 28,000 soldiers, and we want everybody staying in Mexico, never coming into the United States until we have them approved. So he said, no. And I said, here's what's happening. If you don't approve it, then we're going to put a tariff on all of the cars that you stole from our country to make in Mexico of 25%, and every product that's made in Mexico is going to have a tariff of 25% on it, which would amount to tens of billions of dollars for the United States. So the same gentleman, and he's a nice guy, he said, I can't believe you do that. I said, no, 100%. Here's the document right now. I'll sign it. It's a Friday. And this goes, in effect, this goes on Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I had the document right here, showed him the document. He was a little surprised. He said, may I take 5 minutes and make a call? I wonder who he called. Called the president and came back. Sir, we'd be honored to give you 28,000 soldiers, and we would be honored to keep everybody in Mexico, even the MS-13 gang members and everything, until such time as they have to. And we had it going so good. And then think of it, they come in, they said, come into the United States. They stopped the wall construction. We had built hundreds of miles of wall, but they stopped the construction. 3 weeks, it could have been the addition, because we added a lot more than we originally said we were going to do. We had to wait 2.5 years because the Democrats sued us. We had 11 different lawsuits. We won all of the lawsuits. I actually got a lot of the money. I took it out of the military because I consider it to be defense of our country. What's coming in it's an onslaught, what's coming in. And we did all of those things, and then they come in, and what they've done to this country is incredible. Even staying out for medical reasons, you know all about that. Stay out for medical reasons. I mean, people are very ill, and they're coming into our country. Now they're emptying out, as you know, their prisons, and they're emptying out their mental institutions, which is, they're very smart people. I dealt with the leaders of those countries. I know them all, and they're very streetwise. They're very smart. They live and they do well, but why should they pay for mental institutions when we can dump everybody into the United States? Why should they pay for prisons? It's massively expensive. It's a big portion of their budget. Why should they take care of MS-13 gang members, the worst anywhere in the world? Why should they do that? When the stupid people running the United States will do it for them. And what they're doing is poisoning our country. We can't let it happen anymore. Every day I think of the United States in a way. This never happened. Literally, I thought of this yesterday. And I said, I'm coming up to a place that gets it. And maybe I should say it. And I went to what do you think? I went to a couple of people that have been with me a long time. It's sort of strange. But I think of the United States. Every day is April Fool's Day. And they said, sir, what do you mean by that? I don't like the sound of that. I said, listen to this. And I just gave a couple of ideas. We have open borders when they should be closed. It's April Fool's Day. We have prisoners, people from, as we just said, mental institutions and terrorists being dumped into our country when they should not be accepted. April Fool's Day, right? Who would do that? Who would do this? Who would allow prisoners in? He goes, Biden. He said, Brandon. You're both right. We have no voter ID when everyone wants voter ID. Even at the Democrat National Convention, they had a card on the front of them that was like bigger than their chest, with the exception of some people. They had a card. It had everything, pictures, but not for the United States votes, right? So think of it, no voter ID when everyone wants it. Even the Democrats, they did a poll, 88% of Democrats want voter ID. They don't want, because they want to cheat. That's what they're best at. We have a woke military that can't fight or win, as proven in Afghanistan. We lost, unfortunately, $85 billion of it to Afghanistan, where we stupidly gave $85 billion to these people, and we had them in check. We had them totally in check. Abdul, the head of the Taliban. Why are you speaking to him, sir? Who else do I want to speak to? Who else am I supposed to speak to? We want to end it. And I told Abdul, I said, Abdul, you're killing a lot of our people. They did a lot during the Obama administration. The snipers, they were killing our soldiers left and right, a lot of them, and the roadside bombs. You all know, because it's a very military state, very state-focused on the military. I said, Abdul, you're killing a lot of people. Here's the story. If you do this anymore, we're going to hit you harder than anybody has ever been hit by this country, and that's pretty hard. We're going to hit you so hard, left and right, up and down. You're going to regret it. You have to stop. There's no more. No more. This is over a telephone conversation. Can you believe it? And yes, Your Excellency, I do understand. He called me Your Excellency. I wonder if he calls Biden. He's still there, by the way, Abdul. I can't believe his luck. Did he get lucky? Did he get lucky? And we were getting out because it was time. 21 years, right? We were getting out, but we were going to get out with pride. We were going to get out. We were going to take our military out last, not first. We took our military out. And once we took the military out, they had open. I could just see Abdul, tough, smart guy, sitting there. Sir, they just took the military out. And he looks at the guy, probably said, this guy's the stupidest guy that can't happen. They did. They took the military out first. And we left. Right now, we have many, many hundreds, maybe thousands, but hundreds of American citizens there. They're stuck. But we didn't take the equipment out, and we could have taken it out easy. And I had one of our generals that's currently there say to me, sir, I think it's cheaper to leave the equipment than to take it. $85 billion. And I said, what do you mean cheaper? We have brand new airplanes over there. You mean it's cheaper to leave a $100 million aircraft, the latest and the greatest, the helicopters, brand new Apache helicopters, hardly used. It's cheaper to leave it than to fly. Yes, sir. That's when I knew that this guy wasn't too good. I said, listen, so you think it's better than we could give it a half a tank of gas, fly it to Pakistan, and then take it over here, right? Let it fly its way over, a couple of gallons extra, little bit of extra fuel, jet fuel, which today you can't get, by the way. Today he might be right. You can't get it because of us. But think of it. I said, you think it's better just to slave it? Yes, sir, I think so. So we left them 700,000 rifles of the best. We left them 70,000 vehicles, many of them armored, cost millions of dollars. Armored plate, 4 inches of steel on the bottom. You can imagine what they cost. 70,000. I don't know if anyone's in the car business, but I have a friend who's very big in the business. I said, did you ever have a car lot with 70,000 cars? He said, 70,000? If we have 200, we consider that oversupplied. I said 70,000. Think of it. And binoculars, they never fight. You know, they're very good fighters, the Taliban, but they never fight at night because they don't have binoculars. We have given them brand new, thousands of binoculars, better than what we have, far better than what we have, because they're brand new, they're the best. And they are now one of the biggest sellers of arms to other countries because they have so much, they can't possibly use that much. 700,000 rifles and rifles and guns, they call it. 700,000, mostly brand new, brand new stuff. We just dump it over there and many other things. So this is what happened. So that's April Fool. We have a military that has to get back on track, and they don't want to. We've proposed mandatory electric stoves and electric cars when everyone wants at least the option of choice. Because gas stoves cook better, and gasoline cars go a lot longer. I have a friend who got an electric car. After 2 hours, he's like, where the hell do I get this thing? Where do I get electric, please? He used to drive for 12 hours. Now he drives for a very short period of time. But he's happy because he thinks he's helping the environment. I said, you're not helping the environment. If you knew where the batteries were made, all made out of China. And they're all made with minerals and substance found in China. The substance we have is, and more than anybody else, is something that gets refined into gasoline. And we have more than, and they don't want to use it. This is a plot. We have people in the midst of the greatest crime wave in history that want to defund our police. That's April Fool's, isn't it? Right? Let's defund the police. You can't even get your car. You go to New York, nobody ever gets prosecuted. I'm the only one they go after. I go after. It's true. No, it's true. Nobody gets prosecuted. They go after me. I have a man, he's 75 years old. He got prosecuted because he didn't pay tax on a company apartment. Who does? I mean, do people pay? He didn't pay a tax on a company car. 75 years old, he has a company car. Didn't pay tax. I guess didn't pay tax on the education of his grandchildren. I paid for the education of his grandchildren. I have a lot of money. I paid for the education. They want to put him in jail. They put him in jail. Can you believe this? These crimes, fringe benefits it's called. These crimes have never been prosecuted before. To the best of our knowledge, we've never seen anything like it. Only if it's somehow Trump related. Think of it. Didn't pay tax on the use of a company car. Most people wouldn't even know where to begin. What is it? Well, how much is the car? Think of it. Never been charged before that we know of. And they charged him criminally. And they put him in jail. And it's a disgrace to our country. And he's a fine man, never had a problem. I don't think he ever had a parking ticket. And it's never happened before. How sad is it? And that's what's happening to our country. We're going Marxist. We have skipped socialism. That train has already left. But we have men being encouraged to compete against women in sports. Okay? Now think of it. You know the story I tell about the swimmer where this great champion swimmer wants to win this race. She's worked so hard all her life and she's looking up and down she's seen the same girls and women that she's fought and swam against, and then she looks to the right, same thing, but there's this giant standing right next to her. And he hurt her very badly because he went by her so fast that she suffered massive windburn during the race. The whole thing. I think he beat her by, 36 seconds, right? If you win by, she wanted to win, she could win. By 1/8 of a second, she's going to win. She's worked all her life for this. All her life. She's going to win by 1/8 of a second. She's going to set the U.S. record. She's a great athlete. He beat the record by 38 seconds. That's not right. That's not right. We have Antifa and BLM who hate our country and burn down our cities, and they're protected by law enforcement while we put great American patriots in jail and destroy their lives, right? It's an unbelievable situation. We're begging foreign nations for oil when we have far more oil than they have. I call it liquid gold. It's under our feet. We decide to stop drilling oil as it hits an all-time high. It hits the all-time high. Highest ever. We're going to stop drilling. Think of it. It's supposed to be the opposite. See, this is, again, it's April Fool's Day. Who would do that? We have some friends of mine who are great business people there. You got a lot of good business people up here. But they hear that when the price goes high, that's when they start. No, the price hits an all-time high. And that was the day where he said, no drill, we're not going to drill. We're going wind. Let's kill all the birds. Let's destroy our plains and our beautiful oceans and seas and everything else. And then on top of it, we sell China millions and millions of barrels of cheap oil. We're selling it to China. We demand windmills be built on our oceans. We demand they go in our prairies and our mountains and our plains, only to realize that they're killing all our birds and at a level that, if you go out hunting and you happen to shoot a bald eagle, they put you in jail like for 5 years, right? They kill thousands of them with these windmills. Nothing happens. It's the most expensive and least reliable form of energy on our planet, extremely expensive. And the wind turbines are all made in China. Some are made in Germany, but most are made in China. We have a president whose son's laptop from hell gets taken over and exposes massive corruption like nobody's ever seen before. You think the father, do you ever hear this? Do you think the father was upset? Dad, I left my laptop in a repair shop, forgot to pick it up, and this repair guy went a little crazy when he saw what was on it. What's on it, son? Every crime that you've ever committed. Now, at what point does the father get angry? You know, like, this kid is not working out well for me. And then the FBI goes and convinces the media that it's Russian disinformation. Remember, they went over to see the people at Twitter and other media and other agencies also, but the FBI, can you imagine the good old FBI? It's hard to believe what's happened there. This is Russian disinformation. So if you hear anything about it, don't put it in, don't write, don't do it. Don't do it, you better not do it. Because it's Russian disinformation. It's not true. Even though they know that's a lie that they're telling them. And instead of doing that, they come after Trump. Let's go after Trump. Let's raid Mar-a-Lago. Nice, secure place, too. We have an FBI and Justice Department that does raid Mar-a-Lago in Florida. It's placed under lock and key, a very, very powerful building, very secure, very thick walls. It was built, actually, as the Southern White House by Marjorie Merriweather Post and E.F. Hutton. They willed it over to the government. Jimmy Carter turned it back. He said it was too expensive. Can you believe it? And I say, thank you, Jimmy, I appreciate it. But they asked if we could do a favor. They saw the room. We're having very good discussions with NARA, which is always supposed to do. And we looked at the room. They asked us, would you do us a favor? They came down and looked at it. I told them, absolutely, go down and look. They looked at the room. They, I think, found everything in order. It was sealed. There wasn't stuff laying all over the garage floor. What a pigsty that place was, right? It's classified doc. But they looked at the room. They made a request. Could you put on an additional lock? We had a strong lock. Could you put on additional? I said, absolutely. Let them put it on. Tell them we put on additional. And then they came in and they raided Mar-a-Lago after that. And we were having very good discussions with NARA. But, of course, NARA is very radical left. You know, they have red flag. I don't know. Does anybody know this? It's a red flag, meaning danger. The Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. Can you imagine? This is what we're dealing with. They have it red flagged. But, so they raided. But if you take a look at it, and if you look at all of these things that I could name, I was going to go longer, but we want to get to who the hell your next boss is going to be, okay? I was going to go a lot longer, but honestly, I said, you know, I'm not sure the cameras have that much time. Look at all that press. Look at all that media. That's because this great man's leaving. That's why. That's because Steve is leaving, and he's coming with us. Thank goodness. If he wasn't coming with us, I might just have to forget about New Hampshire and just mark it down to a loss. But with Steve, I don't think we can lose. I think with Steve, we're going to mark it down to a victory. In recent weeks, I've begun to introduce our bold, ambitious agenda to control and confront the colossal disasters that Joe Biden is leaving in his wake, what he's done to this country, the damage. I say all the time in the rallies, which is starting very soon, even though it's still very early. I almost, they're forcing me into the rallies, you know. Why isn't he doing rallies 2 years early, you know? But we're going to do them soon. I think we should do a big one up here, Steve, okay? Let's do a big one. They love our rallies. Bigger than they've ever been, too. And the reason, you know, it's bigger, it's hotter, there's more enthusiasm now. I'm in Florida, and I'm driving over to a big meeting, a destination. We go different ways sometimes. And they're driving over, and we're passing signs. And every lawn has Trump 2024, Trump, the spirit. And the spirit is because they knew what they had, and now they look at what's happening to our country. So the spirit's even greater. Within hours of my inauguration, we will restore every border security measure of the Trump presidency. We had it so good. To quickly achieve the most secure border in U.S. history again, just as we had 2 years ago. And I'll ask Congress to establish criminal penalties for any future administration that releases millions and millions of people that you don't want in our country. And I don't say that as a bad person. I mean, I have a bigger heart than anybody. But we don't want their prisoners, and we don't want people that are living in mental institutions, and we don't want terrorists in our country. We don't want it. We're going to be paying a price for a long time. We have to get them out. We have to get them out. They poisoned our country. The people who launched this invasion, because it really is an invasion, we believe those people belong in jail. Something has to happen. You know, when they say conservative or liberal or Democrat or Republican or independent, it's really what people of common sense. It's not even conservative. It's just common sense. You want to have borders. You want to have voter ID. You want to have these things. And it's just, look, there's two reasons this could be happening. The list that I read, and there's so many more, but the list that I read, there's two reasons. They're stupid, which they're not, because they're great at cheating at elections. They're not stupid. They're vicious. No, anybody that cheats like that can't be stupid. But they're either stupid or they hate our country. And it has to be they hate our country, because who would allow this invasion of our country to take place? Despite 2.5 years of working and all of the things we did, I mean, to get this stuff in place, and then they just walk away from it. We worked 2.5 years to get it. We had to negotiate with Mexico and stay in Mexico. We had that was another deal. I think I pulled another tariff one on that one, too. We're going to charge you so much. But they were great. And they understand it, too. They really understand it. And I came up with the name Caravan because we had caravans of 15,000, 20,000 people pouring in. I'll tell you what, we had it stopped pretty early. But now if you look at these caravans, these are massive, massive caravans, and they have no idea who these people are coming into our country. They're walking in unabated. There is nothing that nobody's asking them about health. It's hard to get in. I have so many people. Can you help me become a citizen? I say, yeah, go to the southern border, just walk across the line. You know, I have a guy, rich guy, wants to become a citizen. And he's gone through everything. He's gone to school to study and this and that. He's been working for 11 years. He hasn't been able to pull it off, okay? And I finally said to him, you know, you've been working so hard. Why don't you just go down to Mexico and sort of start walking across our border? They'll take you gladly. They won't even talk to you. Now, how ridiculous it is, when you think people study and they work and they're on lists for years and years and years trying to come into our country legally, which we want all of those people we can get. Everybody agrees to that, right? But you have other people that are prisoners and that are very ill in many different ways, including mentally, and they just walk into our country. It's just crazy. And once they're in, they never get out. Although we took out thousands and thousands of MS-13 gang members. They were really killing they were killing Long Island and other places. Under Biden, fentanyl, heroin, meth, and other legal drugs, these are lethal drugs, absolutely lethal drugs, are pouring across our wide open border at levels never seen before and 10 times greater than just 2 years ago. Think of it, 10 times. Devastating communities all across our state. The drug cartels are waging war on America, and it's time that America wage war on the cartels. We should. You know, I got very badly criticized by some of the rhinos, mostly, that said, oh, behind the scenes, he was saying that maybe he's going to hit Patriot missiles into these drug dens. And they announced it, one of the stupid people, like a Bolton or somebody. These are stupid people. But they said, he's going to go into those areas, and he's going to hit him with a Patriot missile. And I said, oh, well, that's going to be a couple of days of bad publicity. Except everybody said, what a great idea that is. It's like my poll numbers went up. It's crazy. This is a crazy world we're living in, and we have to be very careful because we have a very fragile country. This is a very fragile place. Just as we destroyed ISIS, I destroyed ISIS in 3 weeks. You know that? General Dan Cain. Raisin Cain. I said, what's your name? Sir, my name's Raisin Cain. Raisin Cain, when I went over to Iraq, because I said, why aren't we beating ISIS? Raisin Cain. He was central casting. Most of you heard the story, but he did a great job. And I was told in Washington by the Washington generals, I call them the television generals. They're not our real generals. We have great generals. We have a great army, great military. And I created Space Force, which is a big deal. Turned out to be very important. But General Raisin Cane. I said, what's your name? Sir, my name is Cane, sir, Raisin Cane. I said, I'm going to like you. Are you kidding me? Your name is Raisin Cane? This is it. Then I said, I was told it takes 3 years to get rid of ISIS, and maybe we couldn't even do it in that by Washington. That's why I'm over. I actually flew to Iraq to meet with the generals. Sir, we can do it in 3 weeks, sir. I said, no. Say it one more time. We can do it in 3 weeks. Well, why haven't they done it? Sir, they didn't do it because... I shouldn't say this, sir. In fact, I won't say it because, you know, a military person is not supposed to say. I said, why didn't you convince them to do it the way you want to do it? It's not my place to do, sir. I'm in the military and I have to take orders. And they came in from Washington, told us what to do. Even if I disagree with them, I have to take orders. I mean, I sort of understand that. I'm not sure I fully understand it because it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But militarily, I guess it does. I said, so, General, what would you do? I met him at the base of Air Force One with another general and a drill sergeant. These guys are all better looking than Tom Cruise. You got to see these guys. They are like perfect human beings. The pilots on Air Force One were landing in the desert. We're landing, and I'm saying, they told me, sir, turn off your lights, please. Why? An hour before landing, they said, please turn off your lights, sir. Why? Why would I turn off my lights? Because we're landing. I said, well, you mean we've spent $7 trillion in the Middle East and we can't land there after spending $7 trillion? And by the way, millions of people killed if you include the other side, which I include. But we spent trillions and trillions. They said, turn off your lights. Then they come in, they not only turn off the lights, they put down the shades. It was so dark. So we're an hour out, and I went up to the front of the cockpit because I love going with these guys, seeing how great they are. You're the best pilots. Best pilots fly Air Force One, the best. They take the best pilots. These guys are something. Anybody fly Air Force One in this room? No? I heard some guy over there. But the best pilot, so we're out there. And we're getting ready to land. He said, I said, Captain, I'm getting a little nervous. I don't see any lights. Where's your runway? Sir, it's right ahead. I said, I have pretty good vision, Captain. I don't see anything ahead. It's there, sir. And then you hear, you know, the mechanical, they call it a mechanical voice. It's a computer. Beautiful voice, actually. 1,000. 1,000 means you're at 1,000 feet. That's very low. That's like a 10-story building. 1,000, 900, 800, 700. I'm saying, Captain. I said, I'm sitting back there. I'm trying to be. Captain, I don't see a runway up there. No, we're fine, sir. This guy, you ever see the guy, crew cut, handsome as hell. I could take him to Hollywood tomorrow if I was an agent. I'd make him a movie star. All of these guys. Like central casting. Everything is perfect, you know? Perfect. I don't think they ever had a problem in their life. So this perfect-looking guy with a perfect-looking co-pilot and perfect-looking people all over the place. I never saw so many people operate a plane, but these are minor details. That's why it's called Air Force One in the United States, right? We have 5 telephone operators. I might make 1 call, right? I'll call our First Lady. How you feeling? Everything good? Boom. They wait for me to make calls. So we're landing. We're getting 700. I say, so Captain, I say, sir, it's fine. And so 600, 500, 400. Then he goes 300. So now we're 300 feet over, which is nothing. And Captain, we're okay, right? Yes. Yes, sir. And then all of a sudden, 200, 100. I just closed my eyes. Bing, bing, boom. Land, perfect. No lights, nothing. I said, good. In fact, I checked immediately. I wanted to see whether or not I could award myself as president the Congressional Medal of Honor. Right? I wanted to see, but I don't know, Steve. I don't think it would have played. I don't think the fake news media back there would like it. They wouldn't be happy with that. Can you imagine if I awarded? They said, this is not good. But I don't think I had the right. But anyway, I got off the plane and I see General Kennedy. He said, no, sir, no, we can take it 3 weeks. We can do it in 3 weeks. He said, sir, would you like to rest? I'll never forget. I'm walking off and these beautiful looking soldiers are there, generals and colonels and everybody. It's like central casting. You could make a movie. If I took a camera, I would have made a movie out of it. But I walk, I say, he says, sir, would you like to rest up? I said, no, I don't want to rest up. Let's go right to work. Now, do you think Biden would say that? I don't think. He'd rest for 3 days. He'd rest for 3 days and then they'd walk him back to the plane. They wouldn't have a discussion. No, I said, let's go to your room. So we went up to this gorgeous room. This is a fortress. This is an incredible fortress with, 22-inch walls of concrete. I mean, this is really an amazing thing. And we go into this area that's very secure, no lights at all, practically. Then we turn the lights on, no windows. I mean, just purely, it's a bunker, really. It's a bunker of highly sophisticated stuff. And I said, so why can you do it in such a short period of time when they told me in Washington they probably couldn't do it in 3 years? Well, sir, we'd do it differently. How would you do it differently? Well, they only attacked from this location, and we're very far away. By the time the planes got there, we had to pretty much turn back. We didn't have any time. But, sir, I'd attack them from the front. I'd leave from here. We have many other bases, temporary bases in many cases, but they have runways. That's all we need, sir, is a runway. We don't have that fancy. And I'd attack them, sir, from 7 different locations. We're fully equipped. And I'd hit them from the front, and I'd hit them from the back. I'd hit them from up top, and I'd hit them from below, sir. And they wouldn't know what the hell hit them. And you know what, sir? I think we'll do it in about 3 weeks. I said, why didn't you tell this to these people? It's not my place, okay? I said, General, let me give this a little thought. I go back to Washington. I said, you sure you can do this? Yes, sir, I can do this. We can do this properly, the way it should be done. I'm telling this story, I'm telling this story because we have an incredible military. And you have to understand that. When you see these blundering idiots that leave $85 billion worth of equipment behind, the best equipment in the world that I bought. I bought the best Apache helicopters. I bought it. I rebuilt our entire military. We had great people. We had some people that got in through the rhinos and got in some bed. But, I mean, for the most part, we had incredible. We rebuilt the entire military. I tell you this because you see these blundering fools on television that say I shouldn't be standing in front of a church with a Bible. Remember? That was a terrible thing to do. I'm standing with a Bible in front of a church that these terrorists tried to burn down the day before. And they're saying, oh, they wish they didn't walk because I tell you what, these are fools. But I'm telling you because we have an amazing military. So after a short period of time, they hit them hard. And 100% of ISIS was gone. That was it. 100%. It was gone. 100%. So we have a great military, but we have some fools right now on top. As I announced this week, we will eliminate federal funding for any school that pushes critical race theory or left-wing gender ideology. And I'll get for you parents' rights, including the direct election of principals by the parents. Wasn't that a good idea? How simple is that? Common sense? The ultimate form of local control. You want to have the parents pick the principal and superintendents. And we'll keep men out of women's sports. We're not doing this anymore with the men out of women's sports. We're going to end that policy. That policy is prevalent. It's incredible what's going on. And the amazing thing is that the women are afraid to speak up. So many of them. Every once in a while you'll see one and they're getting congratulated for having the courage. I don't know what takes courage, but it does. It takes courage because they get absolutely just decimated by just speaking up about something so basic as that. We'll end Joe Biden's war on American energy and restore American energy independence as we had it just 2 years ago. We were energy independent 2 years ago for the first time ever. And we were soon going to be energy dominant. And we were going to make so much money with energy that we were going to reduce your taxes even further. I gave you the biggest tax cut in history, bigger than Reagan's. And we were going to reduce it further. We would have paid off the debt of our country. We were going to be supplying Europe with energy, supplying everybody with energy, and they ended it. It's not even believable. I'll quickly rebuild the greatest economy in the history of our world. And the proven formula is really low taxes. I reduced the taxes, and we took in more revenue after I reduced the taxes. Everyone said, oh, you need the revenue. We took in more revenue. I also made it possible for companies to bring in trillions of dollars that they had overseas. They couldn't bring it in because bureaucratically it was too tough, and the tax was too high. They had to pay 40% tax. Who's going to bring the money? So they let it stay in Europe, and they let it stay in Asia, and they do things there. So we took in billions and billions and billions of dollars came back in, and they used that money to build in our country. We will end the Chinese imports of essential goods and replace them with products made in America and made in New Hampshire, by the way. And I will force China to sell any current holdings in the United States that puts our national security at risk. They're buying land right next to our very important military areas. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs from China. Think of that, hundreds of billions of dollars. I gave $28 billion to the farmers because they were treated so badly. I know it's just peanuts compared to what I took in. The farmers love me. You go to Iowa, those farmers, they better love me. But you'll have some wise guy come in and say how great he is for the farmers. No, I don't think they would buy it. Took in $28 billion for the farmers. I gave them checks. We split it around. Everybody got, because what China did to the farmers was incredible. And we brought many businesses back from China because of what I did with the taxes and tariffs. It gave an incentive for them to come back. And no other president has ever done anything like it. And no other president. I took in hundreds of billions, think of that, billions, not millions, billions of dollars. Took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. Not one other president took in 10 cents, not 10 cents. They never had the courage to talk 10 cents. And I got along great with President Xi, but he understood that we understood what the game was. And then when COVID came, I didn't get along because I said that was too much to bear. That was just too much what they did with the Wuhan lab. It came out of the Wuhan lab, and I said that for a long time. Came right out of the Wuhan lab. We'll crack down hard on violent crime, investigate radical left-wing prosecutors. These are radical left-wing prosecutors who just are absolutely horrible, horrible people. And if necessary, use federal assets in Democrat-run cities to restore law and order. You know, the Democrats are supposed to do that. You have to get their permission, in theory, to go in. Next time, it's one thing I would do different. I did it for a reason. I wanted to show how bad they would be, and they were just so bad. Seattle, they took over Seattle. Minneapolis, look at that. How about they took over the police station? And then ultimately I said, I don't care, we're sending in the National Guard. We sent it in. But you're supposed to wait for the governor or the mayors to ask for approval, and I wouldn't wait very long, I will tell you that. I did it the right way. The one thing that I have shown how bad they are and how dangerous they are, because they would never call. They could have a city or a state taken over and they would not call for military help. But we came into, as an example, Minneapolis. We remember that 7 days it was going, and then you have CNN saying, not much is happening, and the reporter behind him, the whole city's burning down. Do you ever see that? We're here. There's been some minor skirmishes, not bad. Behind him, the entire city is like in flames. So I'll support a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. It's time. It's time. And only a non-politician would do that. A lifetime ban on lobbying by former members of Congress, because I see the things that are happening. And also cabinet members. And a ban on members of Congress getting rich by trading stocks with insider information like Nancy Pelosi and her husband. We will keep America out of foolish foreign wars, just as I did as Commander-in-Chief, and I will restore it's called peace through strength. By the way, everyone thought when I ran, they said, this guy's going to be in world, remember Crooked Hillary? He's going to cause a war in his first week in office, because they think that's my personality type. It's actually the opposite. My personality kept us out of war. And I told you before, would have never happened with Russia. Would have never gone in. Putin would have never, ever gone in. And even now, I could solve that in 24 hours. It's so horrible what happened. I mean, those cities are demolished now. The people, I'll bet you have millions. It could be millions of people. How can you, they bomb a city to the ground. These big buildings come tumbling down. They say 2 people were injured. Not 2 people. They lie. I mean, they lie. But if I were president, you would have 0 chance that war would have happened. And even now, as bad as it is, should have never, ever happened. I mean, the country, how does it ever rebuild those cities, those magnificent buildings that came down that are 1,000 years old with the gold domes? You can't do that. But it would have just so sad to see that a deal would have been made very quickly. I'm not even sure a deal would have had to be made. I don't think he would have never done it. And let's see what happens with China and Taiwan, because they see how incompetent we are. So let's see what they're going to do there. But we will root out the deep state and stop the weaponization of federal agencies, because there's a weaponization like nobody's ever seen. We will use every tool at our disposal, we'll give to Steve, to defend election integrity, and we will dismantle the illegal censorship regime and bring back free speech to America. And as they say in New Hampshire, live free or die. That's pretty good, right? Live free or die. So, that's great. Proud of that's great. That's great. Live free or die. This is just the beginning of our agenda. I look forward to returning many times. I'll be here many times. I'll be with you. I like it here, first of all. I guess if I didn't, maybe I wouldn't be back so much, but I love the people here. They're great spirit. They're incredible people. Thank you. Who said that? Who? Stand up. That's it. How nice is this woman? Thank you very much. That's very nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. 1 year from now, we will win the New Hampshire primary. And then with the help of the good people of this state, I love the people, we are going to take back our country, and we'll take back the White House, and we're going to straighten out the United States of America. Okay? And God bless you all. Now I'm going to be reintroducing Chairman Stepanek, who is going to do a very important thing. He's going to make an announcement, and the announcement is who is going to be the next New Hampshire GOP chair. So whoever that is going to be, I'm going to immediately start treating him very nicely, because he'll have a big impact on the election. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Steve, you take over. Thank you very much.
Let's hear it for President Trump. It is USA, 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 USA. We now come to what all of you came here for, and that is not only to see the president, but to elect a new chairman to replace me. And it's my great honor to introduce the next chairman of the New Hampshire Republican Party, Chris Hager. Chris, I turn the meeting over to you.
Okay. Thank you all. And Steve, thank you for your 4 years of service. And President Trump, thank you for returning to New Hampshire and for all the great things you've done for our country. Thank you so much. We know that President Trump, he's on a tight schedule for his next event, and just happens to be in South Carolina. And the South Carolina chairman, Drew McKissick, was just elected as the vice chairman of the RNC, a great man. So thank you. I just have a few comments and announcements. But first is I want to thank the Salem committee for hosting here and the principal of the high school. Just fantastic work that they've done. To replace my position as committee man, I want to announce by next Friday, if anyone's interested, please contact me and we'll give you the process for that. The E-board will select by 2/3 majority who that replacement will be for the 1 year. So there'll be an email out to that as well. My finance chair nominee for the board coming forward will be Mary Jane Beauregard here. I hope that she's confirmed. First e-board meeting will be February 6th. We've got a lot of work to do, so we're not going to waste any time. We're going to move that meeting up to next Monday. And on April 1st, April Fool's Day, we're going to pull one on the Democrats. We're going to do our statewide strategy meeting for the e-board and some other selected folks. So make sure your county chairman know what you're thinking by then. I've got 6 committees we're going to kick off. Election analysis, first responder outreach, First Nation Host Committee, fundraising, media relations, and then we have town organizations, young Republican outreach, digital, messaging with the war room, tiger teams, small business outreach, gun owners and gun shops, pro-life, and immigrant outreach. We're going to start all those within the next month. If you're interested, contact me or Elliot, but be ready to work. Don't show up to sit around and listen and pontificate. We're going to do work, okay? My last, I'd also like to announce I talked to Charlie Kirk yesterday, and Turning Point Action will be hiring to outreach to young Republicans and young conservatives in New Hampshire this year. And I'd also like to thank all the folks who voted, not only for me, but who supported Lou. It was a very spirited and very positive campaign, much different than what we see in some other campaigns. And so I am hoping that Lou will find a spot that he wants to do in the party. I'd love to have him on a fundraising team with Mary Jane, but it's up to Lou. And whoever wins the other races or doesn't, there's a seat at the table for everyone, every single person, everyone. The last thing I'd like to do is just say everyone is welcome in our party. Everyone. Conrad Schleffler from Cornish, you are welcome. Hannah and Anthony, high school students back there somewhere, you are welcome. Yep. Jennifer Maxwell, young Republican woman, you're welcome. All of you are welcome in the party. You all have a voice. No one will be pushed away. No one. Okay? We need to have a bigger tent, not a smaller tent. We don't lose with the smaller tent. We lose with the bigger tent. So thank you all. Again, Mr. President, thank you. And Steve, thank you again.
Congratulations.
Okay.
We get a word from South Carolina. They want to see you.
Okay. All right, this is not my script. That's his script.
I gotta get it. Okay. We're gonna continue with officer elections.
Okay. Yep.
Do you want me to make a couple quick announcements?
Yeah, Elliot's going to make a few announcements. We must finish the officer elections before this meeting can end. So please, we must finish that. So, oh, there he is. Okay.
All right. Hello, everybody. So thank you all for bearing with us. I know it's been a long day. We're going to continue on with our officer elections. So we did elect the chair, so I want to congratulate Chairman Ager once more. So, yes, thank you. You will also note that on that ballot, there was a contested ballot for vice chair with 3 candidates. When we conducted that ballot, there was not a majority, or a candidate did not reach the allotted number of votes to win. So with that said, the top 2 candidates are going to do a runoff, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with the speeches for the top 2 candidates for the vice chair position, and then we will go on into treasurer and the other contested ones, and you'll get 2 ballots this next time. It was the easiest way we could do it. You're going to get one big sheet of paper ballot that's going to be for the vice chair election, and then you're going to get another smaller ballot, just like the ones that you had earlier, for treasurer, assistant treasurer, and assistant secretary. So that said, I'm going to turn it back over to the chairman, but we're going to start with the vice chair speeches. Since it's a runoff, we're just going to give you each 3 minutes. And the 2 candidates that are in the runoff are Ryan Terrell and Christine Peters. And then, here. These are your notes? Okay, so I'll get this out of here.
Right.
Yes, and everyone, please stay for the officer elections. At the very, very least, I know it's been a long day. It's 2 o'clock. The very least, we need to finish our officer elections. We have to do all of our treasurer, assistant treasurer, and then we need to break into county caucuses to do area vice chairs. I know it's a long day, but once we do that, then we can make some motions to get out of here. But that's got to be our top priority. So, right here. We're going right into it.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first vice chairman candidate to speak again for 3 minutes is Mr. Ryan Terrell.